Scott Ferries.
Keeks.
We're talking Vanuatu. You're over in Vanuatu. A couple of weeks ago, you connected up with Lyndon, and then all of a sudden you're in Vanuatu and you're working with the under 17s Vanuatu players and one of the top soccer clubs in Vanuatu. Giving people a bit of background, like, can you share a bit about your journey to how you got here, a bit of the soccer and some of the other stuff that you've been working on the last couple of years?
Yeah, so my background's obviously in football, or soccer as we're calling it here. Grown up in Scotland, played a lot there. Went pro with Aberdeen at 16, played with the Scotland setup, Ross County as well, professional for about 4 years total. Spent a bit of time training at some of the English setups as well, just trialing around there. Man United, Liverpool, got to briefly see their setups as well. Just around the traps there and mainly in Scotland. And then moved out to Australia playing semi-pro. Wound up playing in the NPL, which is like the second tier in Australia on the Sunshine Coast. And signed up to do a real movement event. That would have been in 2019 probably. You might be able to help me out there at Exalto. Jumped in with the crew there. And then I've been kind of in and out coaching between yourself and London, helped me out setting up a coaching gig, in and out of doing that and some other things over the last couple of years as well. Reconnected with London a month ago, just to hit him up to see what was happening, seen some interesting things happening in the community again, and 30 days or so later, here we are.
Yeah, so the app is due to go live today. The first sort of iterations of it are there. So Scott's the one you're going to see doing the demos of the skills in the app, because he can actually play the game. The rest of us are, playing around with it. But you've also had that experience there in Port Vila at some training sessions, and you're sort of saying there's not tons of coaching there. Like, what were your first impressions just going to soccer training in Vanuatu?
So we reversed it and started at the top, and the first session ended up training the top team here, which is Ifira, and them are national team players. So we did a light session with them boys, and it was good. It was quite obvious that there's maybe a lack of coaching and infrastructure there for them.
There we are.
We're back. Yeah, so not sure we lost us there, but we trained the second top team, who a lot of them played in the under 17 World Cup, competed against Germany. So there is quality there, but just a real lack of coaching and structure and whatnot to their play. So yeah, they were real keen to get us in and see some coaching and hopefully have us come in and work again.
Yeah, definitely. The bigger picture is the 15-year-olds now or 12-year-olds now. How do we get them to the point where they're going to be worth a trial when they're 18, 20? But as if you're seeing that, like, there's tons of room for improvement with the existing top level teams and they're open to it, then that would be powerful as well. What would you say their strengths are as just looking at them from that first view? Is it, in terms of athleticism or individual skill or, things like that, or team play, or, what would sort of jump out as like they're probably better at this than that?
The obvious thing is coachability.
Yeah.
You say something and they go and try and do it, whether they can do it or not. They try and do it like word for word, all of them. They listen to every word you say. They're really receptive to coaching. So also physical attributes, a lot of these boys grow up just playing basically in the jungle. We've been playing the last couple of days up in the village here on Owry, where we're building the UNCOM village. And first day, we were actually taking a bath. The surface was a bit wet. It's up and down, and none of us could keep our feet. We're all playing barefoot. None of us could keep our feet. And these boys didn't slip once. They were so quick, so agile, just great on their feet. So there's attributes there for sure. But a lot of coaching.
We get Vanuatu to host the World Cup and we like have the games in the jungle, then Vanuatu maybe it might surprise a few teams on a wet bumpy track.
Clean sweep in the jungle, I think.
Yeah, cool. What are your thoughts with the app? Like, how much impact do you think gamifying basics and having kids focus on simple, the ability to use both feet, control the ball, those kinds of things? Like, what impact do you think it could have, having seen where they're at now?
I think something like an app here will have huge impact. I told the boys a story of, these are all simple exercises that anyone can do to improve on the app. But I told the boys a story of, as a team of Scotland, I think we were under 13s or something at the time, one of our coaches went to Brazil and he came back and had us for an hour passing the ball against the wall, alternating feet from 1 meter. And we're kind of saying, what's this? Like, what are we doing this for? And then at the end of practicing for a long time, he says, okay, I'm going to time you for a minute to get your best score. And I think the best in our team was around 40. And he told us at 9 years old, to get into any Brazilian academy, you have to have a minimum score of 60. So these are the kind of things that we're bringing to the app. If it's good enough for academies in Brazil, and these boys can do it, in their village, in the jungle, and, it can really bring their game on. And most have access to phones and internet to get on the app and do this. And then also the element of competing island to island and being able to judge where they're at against other teams will drive it on. So I think the app is something, and also the element of that. So there's no coaching here. They try, but there is no structured coaching. Someone puts the hand up and takes the team whether he's played football or not. But we have coaching resources on the app as well for them to follow, and we can start to bring in team structure and get them style of playing as well. So pretty much all aspects this app improve them on. Yeah,
it's exciting to think what it can do for Vanuatu soccer. But for me, it's something that could probably help a lot of players in every country, in any country, to have a bigger foundation, and maybe kids that aren't identified with Liverpool and Man United and whatnot. If they're just in a small village somewhere in Scotland or in England and they get onto that stuff earlier, it's pretty cool to think that we could impact and influence, where some of them might go, and even having something to go to pro players with. I've been talking to that street football champion. There's something to go and have a conversation with them about, to have a podcast or to ask, what tips would you give to young players, and tell the story of how much they train and why they train and what impact it's had on their lives. And I think all that sort of stuff can really have an impact and sort of help kids to dream bigger and take it further. Whether they end up making the World Cup team or not, like, it's still a good thing to instill that work ethic and have something to work for.
Yeah, for sure. And you see it already in the kids here, just from going around and talking and saying, look, coached a couple of sessions, I'm leaving, but we're going to have this resource. We're going to have this app. There's going to be exercises you can see, you can do. Their eyes light up, they want to download it. They're keen to know what's on the app. They want it. They really want it, when they don't have anything else other than just kicking the ball about the pitch after school in the jungle at 3 o'clock. Any kind of opportunity that's going to give them something, like I say, you see their eyes light up. So yeah.
How many balls do you see? That's something that I'm also thinking about. Like, it was one of the big changes that I made with the rugby league team that we went to. The first thing was the coach was like, we need twice as many balls, 3 times as many balls. Like, we're a rugby team. We don't want to be limited by being able to have access to a ball. If there's one ball between 20 kids, there's only so much you could do. But if there's, they've all got a ball each, there's a lot more that can happen. Like, what's the situation with the balls?
I'll actually break this one now to Lyndon. I actually just gave away one of our balls to one of the boys on site. I asked him, you play after work? He said, no ball, I can't play. We can't play no ball. So yeah, I've given him. You seen him in the ball? I said, you see Lyndon, you put under the top. So yeah, there is a real lack. It's like one ball per village or no ball, and they just don't play. So Charlie's off back to the village with a ball tonight. There'll be a game that wasn't there where there wasn't. But yeah, if we could get every kid's got a ball, their own ball to go and do these things and can do them against the wall at the side of the house.
I think we should teach. I think maybe in that situation, Scott, what are your thoughts about teaching them how to make a ball out of rice and balloons that they have, like a juggling ball, but you can work a lot of foot dexterity, like a hacky sack, but self-made, so that at least there's no excuse to not practicing for the day. If we figure out some like makeshift, think about what other options there are. And obviously we want to get more balls into Vanuatu. That's a good project in itself. It could be the every child needs a ball program. But yeah, maybe some makeshift hacky sack type alternatives could also, I think, be valuable. What's your take there?
100%. Oh yeah, you hear the stories of Messi growing up playing with an orange and all these kind of things, like these boys just improvise. So yeah, of course, anything's better than nothing. So if we can show them, look, you put this and this together from the jungle, and here's your football, and you can get better with this.
Yeah,
without doubt they're going to do it.
Yeah, there probably are like local materials that could somehow be made into a ball as well. I think you see stuff like that.
Without a doubt, yeah. I'm sure, Lyndon, would you know? You seen any jungle balls been crafted yet? But no, without a doubt,
The oranges don't really grow there. It's not really orange climate, is it?
No, it's not orange. It's what we got. Here we go. So we got the first ball here.
Coconuts are a bit rough.
Yeah. What's this? Breadfruit?
No, that's pummel-moose.
Pummel-moose. Yeah.
Okay.
That's an orange. Okay. So
all right. Can you juggle that? Let's give it a shot.
There's a bit of weight in this.
Test it. Start with the knees, maybe. There you go.
Yeah, no excuse.
No, we can play with that.
Yeah. You probably sand a few of the corners off a little bit. The top there.
But no, yeah, we can definitely come up with something. And let's say most villages do have one ball. The problem is when that ball goes missing or whatever, So
yeah, I wonder how we can. I think we can, like, if we can tie it to incentives within the app that they're constantly winning balls by showing consistency. Maybe we put in the UNCOM 25, in the UNCOM app, there's like a 25-day accountability counter. And so if they were entering in, a score every day for 25 days, they could be like, okay, you're getting, you're at the top of the list, the waiting list to get a ball. It could be just purely based on the overall rank and stuff like that. But if we see guys like leveling up in their scores, to incentivize in that way, I think would be really cool. And that's probably a pretty good story to be able to share to a ball company as well.
Yeah, I think incentives for most improved and consistency.
Yeah.
Kids who've already had access to coaching are probably going to excel, and these probably have 50 balls sitting in the garden anyway. So,
but if they've got 50 balls, I dare say the village will figure out a way to share the wealth. And I don't know how that works exactly, but I'm pretty sure that it'll work out. If we're pumping them into the island, very cool. What about just on the personal side, like the experience of working with the youth, with the men, meeting people, meeting coaches and administrators, and like what's the vibe? What's it like to be involved in Vanuatu football?
great people. I was taken aback at the hospitality and how friendly the people are, but also at the same time how passionate they are about football. Like, everyone is football daft. You meet the minister of whatever, and as soon as you talk about football, the conversations drop. It's this World Cup, that World Cup, you know. So that's been interesting to see how linked all it is, and how much it brings people together here, and pulls people all together. You know, one of the biggest things is if their team goes and represents their province, you know, everyone knows every player on the team. You know, it's not what you consider high level stuff by any means, but you know, it gives them a real sense of community, and they take real pride in it all. So yeah, it's been a bit of an eye opener. It's very different in many aspects to what you'd see in the West, in the game in the West. You know, there's a lot more togetherness kind of around the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an eye opener.
Do you see yourself having a game there at some stage?
Absolutely. We're always open to pull the boots on at some point. So yeah, I jumped in a couple of times as I coach. As long as I got the boots in, I find myself jumping in the drills, and yeah, we'll jump in at some point.
What do you think the chances are of having a player from Vanuatu playing the Premier League in the next decade?
Well, you've already got Brian Caltech playing in the A-League in Australia. Man of the match, the last 3 matches he's played in the A-League.
Is he?
Yeah, last 3 matches in a row. He's a centre back. He's a tank and good player. So there's one, and by all means, you speak to everyone here, and they know that Brian Caltech. A lot of the boys that I coached, Brian Caltech played with them in the under-17 World Cup in the same teams.
Yeah.
He had a guy from Australia come and help them. Lyndon, was it an agent of sorts? Yeah, former player, kind of acting as an agent. Had a contact in Australia and got him the move, whereas the other boys never got a move. So he went to the NPL in Australia and then found himself in the A-League. So yeah, if you've got a team of under-17s that get beat 3-2 by Germany at the World Cup, and then at that point they go back to Vanuatu and there's no pathway, and then that's where they fall off. So we can bring opportunities to them.
Has that happened or what?
Yeah, that's
3-2 against Germany. Wow.
That's what happened. Under-17 World Cup. A few years ago now, I watched the game on YouTube. I couldn't tell you what year it was, but 3-2 against Germany. Like, so yeah, and then they come back here, and it's, you know, go pick bananas in Australia or back to the village, and you know, and there's no reward for their efforts. There's no pathway for what they're doing, so they fall off the wagon. So if we can get coaching to the youth, and then they get to a certain point, and you know, you've worked for it, there's opportunity. Absolutely, anywhere where boys love football so much, or players love football so much, and they play when they finish school or work till dark. Of course, you can get them to the top in anything, you know, if they commit themselves that much. Yeah.
We've seen like the athletic talent of Fijians in sevens rugby and, you know, rugby union. There's lots of players from Fiji have made an impact on the game of rugby and rugby league. There's some differences, you know, genetically and in size. The Vanuatu, they're probably more suited to. Well, you can probably comment on that. Like the builds of the guys, like, are they suited to football?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of smaller frame, agile, definitely more suited to football. I don't think they go too well at the rugby.
Yeah, there's probably one or two, and if they got into the weights, they'd probably adapt pretty well as well. I want to run that experiment too and see if we can put some size on a few guys with a performance center. But what do we need to do? Like, what are some of the how do you see it? You know, coming together. Like, what are some of the things that come to mind? Obviously, we've got this app coming live. Do you see yourself, or, you know, do we open up a pathway where people can come like you've done, and there's just every month there's, you know, people coming in, you know, sharing ideas, doing clinics, or I don't know, like what's the path?
Well, I had an idea myself the other night. I was just banging heads with Lyndon. We were going to speak to the Football Association, see if we can get a meeting with the Vanuatu and Football Association to see what we can do around coach accreditation systems, to say, okay, instead of doing your A license, B license, C license, whatever it is, instead of doing that over the course of a month in Victoria, can you come and do it in a intensive, 2 weeks intensive, week intensive in Vanuatu and get some exposure to national coaching while you get your accreditation? So there's an option to try and get, I mean, maybe as part of it, they go and work with local teams, or you try and maybe do longer term, maybe internships where, you know, they get access to accreditation, but to get that, you have to go and spend, you know, 1 month with the Santo team and coach them and stuff like that. Maybe someone on the ground full time. I'm not sure how that would look or how it would work, but definitely running camps, definitely having the app here. So they're constantly in touch there. But yeah, the more, and also training coaches here would be another huge thing for us. If we can provide coaching opportunities or training opportunities for coaches here, which may look like we take all the coaches down to the UNCOM village for a week, you know, and they come and spend a week here and they're fully immersed in it, and get maybe some structure, some playing pathways that kind of run across the board. That's kind of what I see at the minute. We're still banging heads and we're trying to come up with what we can, but
some of that can probably go into an online learning platform as well, you know, and there's probably the challenge of, you know, setting up something with if it's from Australia or if it's from England, and then have it potentially translated or subtitled, you know, film one of these courses and get access to people who want to have access to it, like doing the online education version of it together with then having the face-to-face component. Have you done much of that stuff yourself? I know a couple of guys have in the community. Declan Nash has done some of it in Ireland.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of online platforms that you can use now. Football DNA being one off the top of my head, and you know, coaching resources where you have, you know, top coaches, top FA coaches providing sessions, whether it's weekly sessions or whatever. There is where we could be the point of difference is adding that face-to-face element. So you have your online stuff, but then we're in contact. They know we're coming. They know we're coming to train and be there for the players, and they see, okay, this is not just an online training session. There's, you know, there's a pathway coming at the end to it.
If we, maybe we can have a partnership with something like that kind of app, though. If it's, you know, the football DNA, but you know, the top coaches that have got all their players in their club onto our app, and you're showing that they're diligent, the players are using it, and you know, they can also kind of helping them to earn their way to it, but potentially some sponsorships or things around that. Go back. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm so, you know, it's great that this process is in motion. I think that we can see the potential for it for Vanuatu, and I'd love to see the same thing happen. And we've got something to start a conversation in Colombia and in Montenegro and, you know, other places where we're building as well. We can say, hey, we've got this thing going, go to some pro players. Speaking to a pro player in Colombia the other day on Instagram. So, you know, it doesn't take too much before you're connected into these networks if you have a few people buy in. I was just having messages with a player from, what club was it, Lyndon? I don't know. There's a pro player joined a network, and I just had messages with him last night. He's playing in one of the top leagues in England. So I think that connection between pros and kids who are just getting started is something really powerful as well. Like, you can imagine hooking up a Zoom call between someone who's playing in the Premier League and some kid who's killing it on the app that's like 13 years old in Vanuatu, and having them just be on a Zoom call for 10 minutes and just showing me skills. And that stuff could be life-changing as well. And I think that there'll be pro players that'll be up for it if they can see that the work is being done, and the kids have got really good skills and whatnot.
Any player who's made it pro has been through a struggle to get there. I'd say most of them would be more than willing to
when it can make all the difference. I know I had players like that. You know, I was wanting to go to the Olympics for hockey. I had a player who'd played in the Olympics. He'd done everything that I wanted to do. He spent an hour with me at training, you know, showing me some drills and just talking to me. And the head coach set it up for me, and that was really powerful. Like, I really took off with my game and believing in myself and stuff more. Like, I don't know, did you have an experience like that at all? You were probably reasonably close to some of the pros where you being in the junior systems, or
It was actually a bit kind of a bit different. Depends the environment and where you play and where you grow up and what level you're at. I think at the very top level, pros are so there's a difference in experience at maybe lower kind of league clubs where you're at and you're a younger player. If you're coming to take someone's place,
yeah,
they're maybe less, they're less likely to help. But players who, top players who are sure of themselves and their ability, all they want to do is help the younger players and maybe steer them on the right path. So having that someone who can also guide them and steer them and support them that's already been through the process would make the world of difference.
love it. Yeah, I'm excited. It's come a long way in a short period of time, and your willingness to get over there and get involved is phenomenal, and I think it's going to be well rewarded. The fact that we have these villages and things, and there's all kinds of ways that we can support you on your journey now, which is super exciting as well. We're looking at other things that we're building here and in Montenegro, and people who make big contributions early on. There's really a big possibility that it's going to be life changing for you one way or another as well. I know Lyndon's already helping you out with some business stuff in Sunny Coast, and I think you're building goodwill. You're doing good deeds. That's so well done taking that action, and excited to continue to hear the updates. We'll check in again soon.
Good to be back involved and in amongst it again, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we can take it.
Yeah. How long are you going to be there?
I think we go back there's a big tournament on here at the minute, so we're flying. We've booked an earlier flight back to Port Vila on Saturday to see a few games, and then we fly out to Australia on Sunday.
Yeah, cool. Well, hopefully I'll see you in Oz then.
You're coming. You're next month. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, end of Feb we'll be in Oz.
Yeah, we'll link up.
Good man. You can teach me some skills.
We'll get you up that leaderboard.
That's the one. I think Lubo was wanting to show us something there. I don't know. He's been moving around.
Hey, kids, before he does, can we go to Tom because it's getting dark here? So if we want to look at the villages from our standpoint, maybe we go there first and then we shoot over to Montenegro. Tom, you there?
Yo.
Here he is.
Down
Beachside.
Beachside. I'll turn my camera around and give you a bit of a rundown.
Yep.
If you've been following along with the UNCOM villages on Instagram, you see we're planning on getting this roof on today and successfully got that done. How's the lighting there? You see that all right?
When you point at the sky, you can't see much, but when you point it down a bit more, it's
it's got that sunset. But yeah, so that's bungalow 2 there.
Epic. Yeah, they look bigger, like live like this, than what I feel like they're looking like on Instagram for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, nice. That second one's come up a lot faster. What's the story with that?
That's because we've got a highly skilled man on board, Keldon Baxter.
Just having the two of you there's put the accelerator on everything.
Yeah. That's having him. He definitely has put the accelerator on. Having the boys achieve this one already. They'd never built anything to an Australian standard before. A lot of them had never even picked up a hammer before. So, yeah, we've been teaching as we go. So the fact that they'd sort of understood the process of this one helped it quite a lot. And then just a few other things about something slowed us down about getting our sand and coral to start with. So we've got big backloads of sand and coral now, whereas it took us a few weeks to sort of get that up to a quantity so we could pour our slabs.
Is that not going to be an issue going forward now, or it's still work in progress?
No, the only issue is these machines breaking down.
Yeah.
But what we've got now is more manpower just to continually be bringing up and sifting through the sand and coral.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing. Like our team's expanded.
Yeah.
We had like 18 men on site today between working with Keldon on this,
Yeah.
sifting sand, fixing machinery, and then also we've started. I'll go for a walk and I can show you the traditional bungalows we've started on as well. So
I'm really excited about that one. How is it running? Have either of you guys run a team of like 18 men before?
yeah, I would have close to that, but not like it's not like it's done in Vanuatu though.
Yeah.
It's pretty yeah, it's a different way. It's a different place. It's like I don't think many people can say they've built anything like the Vanuatu way. So but yeah, it's awesome. Like having Keldon here is a necessity now though to keep the momentum we've got. We could use another bloke as well. We could easily get another crew going, led by a fella that's adequate in the Australian standards.
Yeah.
And then we'd pick up more momentum again. So that's what we're working towards. We've got a call with a fella booked in with Lyndon who's showing some interest in coming over. So
yeah, it gets easier as everything improves and gets further along there and the team gets further along. It's easier for someone else to go over there if you're already more established there and comfortable. How are you feeling about it's been a while now? Like how's the life in Vanuatu? Is it?
Yeah, I've just accepted that this is how it is now. It's been awesome, mate. Like I had the opportunity to go home at Christmas time, but there was a few things going on with the airlines and I could have got stuck in Australia. And in the end, I just thought, I don't want to go through that headache of traveling around just for a week to go home for Christmas time. So I just stayed here, and it was cool because we stopped work for a week and I got to get to know the local fellas we got working with us on a different level outside of work.
Yeah.
Go up to their villages and they showed me their gardens, and we done some hunting, and yeah, it was really cool. So building those relationships as well, so then they can share it with you guys when you come along too. So it's not just, and to show them it's not just about work. Like we're here to build friendships as well as a working team.
Yeah. How's the hut going there? The traditional style one.
Yeah, so it's down here.
Let Keldon jump in while you walk up there.
Roger.
Jump on mute.
I just automatically get in. Yeah.
Yeah, unmuted, aren't you?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's unmuted.
Yeah. How you doing, Keegs?
Very good. Very well, thank you, Keldon. How are you?
Good. Yeah. How's Bali life?
Yeah, it's been good. Really enjoying some time here with Nico and been training well. It's been a while since I've trained like this, and it's pretty cool environment too.
Yeah. What style of training? What's changed? What's different?
I just haven't had much gear, and I've been training my own. Like, we had a couple of sessions that were good sessions, but yeah, we've been sort of hitting it. And it's not that often that I train with someone that's a lot better than me at stuff that I'm trying to do. And it's just been really good. So doing some different movements, sharing different ideas. So it's he's top quality athlete, coach, and really committed to what he's doing. So it's been cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
How's your training going there? Have you been getting some work done?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I could be better, to be honest. But got the muscle up style now.
Nice.
Pull-ups up. I'm up to 18 now.
Nice.
Just doing a lot of knee stuff still. Just keeping that moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. What about I know we had some chats there around the building stuff, and it's a bit of an adjustment and some challenges in the the site changed a lot, I guess, when the former foreman got recruited to be part of the Vanuatu government. Kind of changed the plans there, but how's it feeling with the second bungalow coming along?
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, just dealing, just working with what we got there. So making doing as best as we can. It's good. It's working well.
How you finding working with the local guys?
I like the man. I'm just one of the boys now. Just get along with them well. And
Yeah.
calling me at 10 o'clock on Friday night for a carver session sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Have you had that before
And sort of like working with that sort of,
in New Zealand or
I mean, like work with the Maoris, they're all like, but it's,
Carver?
oh, no, I haven't, I tried carver the other day, but I haven't had it properly. Maybe in Fiji as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
been on it.
I never had it. Some of the players used to have it occasionally after a game in yeah.
I think I will give it a go.
Uh,
See. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
there you
Yeah.
go.
This Saturday, we've been invited up to the village because they have like an initiation for for when the boy becomes a man here, when he goes through the circumcision. So one of our fellas that's been with us for a while is his son he's going through the initiation at the moment. So when it's all done and he's healed up, they have a big party. So they've invited us up to the village on Saturday afternoon for the party that they have.
Yep.
And that's I think that's where we all might give the carver a go for the first time.
Epic. Yeah, you're just in front of the construction there, or
So we've got some posts in. You can get a bit of an idea about how it's just going to have your roof like that. And then the walls are all going to be made out of bamboo, woven bamboo. And the roof structure will be, or the roof covering will be like palm leaves. They call it nut angora. So we've got one there and they've started digging out this one because there's another, I didn't want them taking our sand. So they're sourcing their own sand now. And then we've got room for another probably 2 or 3 here. And then where I'm standing will be like a communal area where we'll build a bigger shade structure where you can do the cooking and have the traditional ceremonies and that sort of thing. Does that paint the picture?
yeah. How's it look being from the Western style of building to see these coming together? What are you guys thinking about that, or how does it look to you?
Yeah. No, so far, the structure of it's solid. Like these posts are like 600 mil, half a meter deep into the ground. That's going to be the strength of the whole thing. So yeah, for sure. And then I've never seen any woven bamboo. I've seen the woven bamboo for walls, but I've never worked with it. So they reckon it'll withstand a cyclone. They say that they've built these before that didn't get knocked down in Cyclone Harold. So it's definitely something different. They use a lot of rope as well to tie the roof down instead of using nails or anything like that, because the nails, they say, will rust out or it's hard to replace because I think they say about 5 years the palm leaf roofs last before you got to replace them.
Yeah.
So they tie them all down with rope, so it's easier to do the switch over with a new one.
Do you get any vibe about how they feel about building that in our village? Like, is it something they're proud of, or they think it's strange, or it's like, do you get any vibe of how they look at us wanting to have that?
Nah, not at all. I love it. They love working with us. And I've said to them, like, you show me the way that you guys do things, I want to learn from you as well.
Yeah.
So they're all stoked to have us here doing this. They understand it's for like a tourism standpoint and that as well. So they all see that it's going to bring more work for them to the island. A lot of guys don't have the opportunity to work and build here, or like a lot of guys haven't had the opportunity to learn how to do it. So the builders here are pretty respected.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I think they're more respected in my mind as well, realizing that it's the only thing that's going to make these villages cool. The guys here in Bali go hard as well. They got a team of 15. The foreman's there. Guys have got different pay rates based on their experience, but they're pretty much all the men that live around Nico's place. They all just want some work. And so some of them have done a bunch before, some of them have done nothing, some have done tiling, some of them have done, whatever. And between them, they just work it out and get stuff done. And some of the guys are doing more of the entry-level jobs, but they're sort of just, teaching each other and some of them are more skilled than others. But it's pretty cool to sort of see that all the local men have some building ability. Like it's a bit of a fundamental thing, like we've had with the athletic training, is like, well, you should be able to build something. That's Lyndon's been trying to get me on that buzz for a while, but it's more evident now that we're actually, got these lands that we can do stuff on. It's like, yeah, if you can build something good, it's super valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think it's going to be like to stay in one of these things? We're sort of playing with the idea of having a budget accommodation option for, someone who's just done an adventure around the world like Keldon, or like I did when I was Keldon's age. I was looking for cool experiences and places to go and things to be involved with. Like in my mind, that's what these bungalows are going to be great for. The Vanuatu, the local style ones, sleep a bunch of guys and give opportunity to access the lifestyle and sort of be able to train and be in a positive environment. But what do you think they're going to be like to actually, sleep in and use these structures?
Yeah, it'll be a real jungle vibe for sure, having bamboo for walls. But at the same time, like if you just need a bed and somewhere dry to sleep, that's what it's going to be. So, we've been tossing around ideas whether we put solar power on it and give it electricity, or do we want to create it as the place where you actually get the Nevan experience, because they don't have power. Like they go to bed when the sun goes down, or they do all their cooking and everything before the sun goes down. So, but yeah, as far as a place to sleep and stay dry, that's what it'll be.
Yeah. You got anything to add there, Keldon?
I haven't even been over the traditional bungalow site, so I don't know what it's going to be like. But yeah, it'd be a good opportunity for someone like myself, like young, doesn't want to fork out for a proper bungalow. Be perfect. Yeah.
I would have loved that kind of experience. I stayed in some sketchy places in Latin America. That would have been luxury to have just safe basically and not filthy, like some of the hostels and dive places I stayed in Colombia and along the journey. Yeah. How is it, the camaraderie between you guys? Like we speak about sort of brotherhoods and that is part of the vision of this thing as well, that you have these heightened human experiences of doing something cool. Like you guys are living on a kind of a remote island and building a new civilization in a way. Look, what's it feeling like in terms of the team and just getting on with each other each day and working with the community? How's the human side of the journey going?
Yeah, I think it's been epic. In all levels, having Zach and Keldon come over here after I've been here by myself for a while was just showed how important it is to have some other guys around you with a similar vision. So, and having people that you can have the deep conversations with without them sort of fizzling out too fast. Like, yeah, we've had some awesome chats, and then you throw the Nevan guys into it, and as soon as they say that we're all the team and we've got new players of the team, they welcome Zach and Keldon in really faster than what it sort of took me. And so yeah, it's awesome to be around. I see it getting closer and closer. Like I'd like to build our team accommodation so they just stay at the village themselves.
Yeah,
and I think that'd be a whole new level again if we all sort of lived in the same village.
Where do most of them stay? Are they staying where they usually stay, or are they makeshift accommodation so they can work for on the project?
Yeah, so we're split between guys that live on the island and they've got their own village. Probably take them 20 minutes to half an hour to walk here of a morning.
Yeah,
and then a couple of the guys that have been with us from the start we've given them push bikes since they've been here. One fella got a push bike, so he rides in, so he's first in the morning, and then he takes our boat and goes across to Santo and picks up the rest of the crew. So we've got, I think, just at the moment we've got about 3 guys from over there in Santo. So yeah, we're split between both, but they all live in the same place. They all from when they started.
Yeah. So if we had on-site accommodation, what do you think would happen? the guys
It'd
from
probably be
Santo
it-
would stay maybe, or would all of them stay?
potentially.
Or-
Potentially, like I know that there's one fella. He'd be our best carpenter, Seniel. His family's in Banks, which is closer, which is over where Kukia is. So it's a fair hike from here. So he's pretty flexible. Like he came to Santo for work, and then so I think he'd stay over here. And then the other fella that got the soccer ball this afternoon, Charlie, he's young, so I don't think he has like wife and kids or anything like that yet either. So it all depends on the family, I think, and how close they are with them. Like they're pretty family orientated. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It could also create some politics between people on the area as well when other people from other islands come along and move in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's going to be fun to navigate all that stuff as well. But yeah, it's surreal, man. Just even thinking about all this stuff, like we couldn't have imagined we'd be having this conversation. You know, Tommy, you and I have been having conversations the last couple of years, and you've seen things that I've been working on, and I've seen what you've been working on out back in Australia, and that just to be having this conversation today, and the structures to be there in the back, and it's surreal. Like it's crazy to think how much things have changed, and it's a real permanent thing that's, you know, for the rest of our lives. Like this is going to be a place that we're connected to and can go to and building things and having an impact. And it's very, very cool. I'm so glad that it's happened. Like we could have started it in 2015, probably. You know, if Lyndon and I had our heads together when we first met, we probably could have worked it out to start then, but you know, we're doing it now. So it's amazing.
All happening at the speed of grace, mate. I didn't know then what I know now. So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to be part of it, man. It's awesome.
Did you make a good decision to jump on a plane over there?
Yeah, it wasn't even a decision. It was just happening. I could see what Lyndon was up to 12 months before I got here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like as soon as you started talking about it, and that's half the reason I've kept the flexibility of how I was living in Australia, so I could keep myself open for something. I knew just the way that most builders did it. I just knew that there was a different way, so I was just staying loose until the opportunity came. Now here I am.
Yeah. Very good. And maybe there might be a few other builders that start to see that there's a different path. If there's a path to owning a property or having shares in a property with a couple of years work, like it's generally takes people multiple years to own a place in Australia. Often, you know, most people never get there, but some will get there over 20 or 30 years. Like if we can set up a different path for a builder as well, where they can actually own a place and sort of have income coming in from that, have an asset. Yeah, maybe they don't want to live in Vanuatu forever, but maybe they do. Maybe they love it and end up wanting to stay there. But I think that if I was a 25-year-old builder, or you know, someone who's finished my apprenticeship like Keldon, like it seems like a really big opportunity. And yeah, it's fun to think about where, you know, how that's going to look to people over the next little while as it gets bigger and more people visiting, and yeah, good times.
For sure, mate. Yeah, I
Very
think
cool.
the more it develops, people will start saying that like me, like when I first came, I thought it was just a few bungalows and a gym, but I think as it develops more and they say that we're building an actual economy here, people are going to want in for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some big moves going on in the background that we haven't spoken about too much publicly yet, but the potential is there. And having the president already visit the village and having that, you know, connection from that level, doing what we're doing with the soccer, I think, you know, it's going to build a lot of goodwill to be able to really do things much, much bigger than what we could have imagined when we first had these conversations. Linda and I were going to buy a block of land each on the beach, and it's kind of snowballed quite a bit just in a couple of years. And, you know, to think where it might be another couple of years is very, very interesting, especially having these conversations. The more we're sitting around thinking about things, the more it's like, well, what about this? What about that? And then it's sometimes it just happens another month later, like the soccer app and that initiative. So yeah, we don't even know what we're going to come up with next, but it's going to be good. It's how it's meant to be. You're meant to be building, meant to be creating. Lyndon, what do you got for us? You're
Yeah.
the mastermind behind the Vanuatu operation.
Mate, I'm just a dumb builder from a town of 500 people, a town that can't even string a sentence together. From a town of 500 people, so don't take anything I say as kosher. Look, you asked about the culture and what's happening here. The weekend summed it up perfectly. You know, for what we did on the weekend was very uncommon. I missed out on the judo. That happened maybe the night before. So Keldon threw everyone around on the grass out here, judo. Then the next day it was.
I hadn't arrived yet at that point, Keats.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Then
Huh?
He said he killed him, threw everyone around at judo. I said I hadn't arrived yet at that point. So
haven't taken Scott out yet. Might take about.
I've seen Keldon box in Montenegro, and if he's I don't know if his judo is anything like his boxing, but that was a sight to behold. He was slinging him in Montenegro.
I've had him on the pads. I said I'll do a round of pads for you. He didn't know I was just sussing him out, but yeah.
Have you got a couple of sets of gloves there or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And a couple of mouth guards. But yeah,
Nico and I haven't done any sparring yet, but Nico's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, it really summed it up that day. We didn't stop pretty much the whole day. We went for a swim in the afternoon. It was like, yeah, awesome. We trained, we boxed. What else did we do? Snorkeled, dove, did something else. We played a whole bunch of cards, soccer, tennis. Yeah, learning new skills in the card games.
Total chess. We've got a chessboard made out of total.
Oh yeah, you guys got to see this. Actually, you've got to see this. This should go into another network that you and I both know, Keeks, that play a lot of chess.
Yeah.
But I challenged the guys. You know, they couldn't buy a chessboard. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I saw a photo that Scott put up. You need to get a good photo of that. It's
Let's get the top view here.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's an old stool, and they're all like carry shelves, and
Yeah, that's
so yeah, we'll get a shot of that. Quality.
yeah. Very
Quality
cool.
Scott would say. There's a new saying that's and this is what I wanted to finish on. There's a new saying here to sum up the culture. I've got to bring the Scotsman back because he's introduced us to some new language. That's one of the benefits of spending time in an environment where there's a whole bunch of different people. You take on some of their language. So what is it, Scott? Come and tell them. How do we sum up the UNCOM experience here?
Talking about the crack.
We're talking about the crack. Yeah. So in Scotland,
You were talking about camaraderie, Keeks.
Yeah.
I'm let them know about the concept of the crack. You're probably familiar with the crack. You would have spent a bit of time with rugby, Irish and Scottish boys and stuff. So yeah, the boys have been brushing up on the crack. Some at better stages than others, but we're dishing out belts here as well. So Zach Horsey's left with his first stripe and his white belt. Pee-wee's kind of got a bit built in. He's probably a 2-stripe. Paul Simon needs a bit of work. He's got a long way to go. But...
no.
What are you talking about here for those who need a translator? If some of the boys' English isn't the first language, and so what are you talking about there when you're talking about the crack?
We're talking about the camaraderie, the banter, the laugh between the boys and whatnot, which is it's also been a big part of it. Keep the boys going, and with the locals as well, they love it. If you kind of involve them and have a laugh with them, you know, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
I think the more we can do that, you were talking about getting, you know, would they stay over and would they hang about? Well, I think the more crack that was going, the more camaraderie and the more exchange of culture, and you know, we play football 11 aside on the pitch, and you know, compete or show them this and that. Like we had Charlie on the speed bag and down here, and they love it. So I think, you know, more camaraderie amongst everyone can definitely push it on.
For sure. It summed it up for me today. I saw Charlie. I was over in town, and I saw him walking down the street with a brand new green soccer ball, juggling it as he walked down the street. So that was a cool experience to know that those 25 soccer balls came over in a suitcase with me, and you know, one of them's heading off to a good home. But look, the meat, you know, we eat like kings here on a shoestring budget. We've just done a wholesale deal with the Abattoir here, so. There's a bit of a dog blue going on out here. Pristine water, food grows plenty. The staple diet is a bit of homegrown pineapple and the other oranges you saw Scott juggling. But yeah, $14 Australian per kilo wild grass-fed, grass-finished beef. There's no grain in the country. There's no vaccines in the cattle. It's an epic place to come, to visit, to train, to stay. So really can't wait for you to come over, Kegs. And the guys are already joining from the network, and those that are watching on, can't wait to host.
Yeah, it seems like something that everyone should experience at some point in their life. Like a month of that kind of living seems like that's what's settling in my mind, is that you need to have at least a 25-day and UNCOM 25 living in a village. And I think the standards and the the value of that is just going to continue to increase as the environment builds and more people go to the places. And being in nature, being around good guys, having a joke. But yeah, like there is a different culture amongst it, like where
there's totally a different culture. We're competing here. None of the boys, me included, I lost my muscle ups, but everyone's got muscle ups again in the last week that we've been here. That's just not an option. Like the rings are here in the kitchen. You got to walk past the rings to get to the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that's also the crack that Scott refers to, where we're all competing, whether it's chess, whether it's push press, which we're coming for you guys on the leaderboard just quietly.
Yeah, Nico just pressed 85 at 77 kilos yesterday. It's pretty it's his first, not for 10D1, but just the single, but he hasn't pressed in months, and his best ever is 87.5, and he pressed 85 yesterday. So I'm about to go train with him again. But
awesome.
Yeah, it's like, it's literally a path now. Like this is what we dreamed about, is like, what if $1,000 a month could get you a bed in a traditional hut, and you got to train, eat well, be around good people, compete, learn. What would happen if you engaged that experience rather than going to university, rather than going on a binge to party town in wherever on a holiday? What if you had that experience every year, or if you parked yourself there for 6 months or 12 months? Like what impact would it have? Like we've created those environments now. That's like, just I can't think of anything more meaningful or more important in the world today than to be able to run these experiments. And I don't know if experiment's the right word, but it's life. It's an uncommon life, but it's one that's worth living. And that's, Nico and I were talking about yesterday, like what is the best life that we could create? Like if the money's all there, how do you actually live?
Yeah.
What would you change from how you live in there? It's probably improving the facilities and stuff will be fun in a way, like to be able to do a bit more. I'm excited to have sauna and cold and whatnot, even though it's warm there. Having a better gym and things like that will add to it. But I mean, there's not much really, is there? Like, it's just
we have some big plans, and as Tom alluded to, the village is the center hub of a spoke wheel, which some of that stuff will come to light over the coming months. But can't wait to get here to show you some of that stuff. We've taken up a bunch of time. I'm really keen to hear from Lubo here.
Yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. We've got 3.
Thanks for hosting.
Andreas has just arrived there in Montenegro, and there's 2 others arriving. Brad and Fighty are arriving there in the next week. So you're well. Please welcome. And you're on. I think you're on mute. There we go.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi, how doing?
Very good. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm Andrea plays for milk.
Excellent.
Fresh milk. Andreas come last night. 2 guys come 3 February, 8 February. We work.
Very good.
When I be home 10 minutes, I video progress live if you like here. If you like see.
We will see in the Montenegro group, but yeah, how are you feeling about having three men? You've got an American, we got two Americans and a German, I think with Polish background, coming to stay at your place with your family. How are you feeling about that?
Very good guys, very good young men, work hard, help me too much. I appreciate.
Yeah. Andreas is very excited to use the tools and build the village, contribute.
Andreas,
Andres,
six o'clock up
there's two.
morning, 6 o'clock start work with computer. 9 o'clock we start work.
Very good.
Help us and other men, work, prepare for barbecue and everything be behind restaurant.
Yeah. The front of the restaurant looks very good. The new stones on the wall look very, very nice. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. We prepare stone when finished gym, roof, everything. We put front side like restaurant stone. We put front side gym
Very good. Very good.
and be for picture, for video, everything, and for eyes. Good.
Yulbo's in the new Montenegro vehicle as well as part of the upgrades there. We got so you can pick people up from the airport and take them around, which will be very useful with having three now. Not good in much better with the new vehicle.
Yes, I go when guys come. Podgorica airport, I wait.
Yeah. Podgorica is the capital city airport, 25 minutes from the village. So it's all happening. We've got village life on 3 sites. We didn't get cash on from Colombia today, but very, very exciting to be able to link up three villages around the world. Big projects. You see massive passion from Ljubo. It means everything to him to build the village in Montenegro. You see the same thing with Lyndon and the team there. It means a lot to build the place there in Vanuatu, and maybe I'll get a chat with Nico here at some stage as well. But it's really means everything to him as well to be building a place. And yeah, the beauty of the villages is really only in the experience of them. Like on their own, they're nothing. It's just a place. But when the people are there and the conversations at the table in Montenegro have been very good over the last few months. And, you guys are talking about there in Vanuatu. And yeah, I'm having amazing conversations here with Nico in Bali. And you just can't get it. You just can't find these kind of things to talk about and feelings. It's a funny thing, but it's very unique and it's really priceless to be exploring. How can we live better? How can we help each other? How can we make a difference? How can we build the future we want for our families, for ourselves, for other people, for people we haven't even met yet? But it's happening.
Yes, I see. This morning, Keldon work Vanuatu.
Yeah.
I heard what you talk, everything. I sit down with Andrea and drink tea, but I listen what you talk.
It's pretty cool. Keldon's the first one to be in Montenegro and Vanuatu.
Yes, Keldon built in your little home bed.
Yeah, he built a bunk bed, a table. He helped we got a new kind of saw when he was there, circular saw, to speed up some of the wood cutting, and he helped to make the beds for the cabins.
Epic.
Yeah, very good. All right, well, I'll let you go. Thank you, Ljubo, for jumping on, and good. I mean, maybe you can say hello to Lyndon. Maybe that's a good way to. You guys I've been telling you both about each other for a while, so it's nice that you're on the call together.
Sure.
Okay.
You say hello.
Okay.
Hello, Leroy.
Okay.
It's good to see your
Hello.
face. We have some messages on Telegram, but it's nice to meet you virtually.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
doing some great work.
I
can't
learn.
wait. Can't wait to get across to your project in Montenegro. I can't wait to come and help lay some stones.
Welcome, welcome. Very good.
Very good.
Excellent. Thanks for
Thanks.
hosting, Keegan.
No, thanks so much. Thanks so much. I'm glad we finally did one of these. And yeah, the human journey, the physical journey, the building, it's all the business growth. It's all growth and development. I think it's making us all better people in the process. Thank you for the work you're doing. Looking forward to seeing you both all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.